Hi guys, let's dive into some juicy updates from my siblings' romance. First up, Jiwon and Yongwoo, the final couple who came together through an unexpected twist, granted an after-show interview, and they said a couple of things I'd like to speak about. Plus, the burning question, are they still dating after the show? I'll be giving my take on their situationship and where I think their relationship stands now. Remember, this is just my analysis, so take it with a pinch of salt. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments after watching the entire video to get the full scoop. But before we get into Yongwoo and Jiwon, can we take a moment to celebrate the blooming romance between Yunhay and Yunha? Yunjay's latest Instagram post shows him and Yunha with a bouquet of flowers, he captioned in 3 languages with, "I love you." That stare and look in his eyes says it all. Just hours later, Yunha posted a photo of them together with a playful caption, "Nice with some LOLs." This couple is absolutely thriving, and I hope their love continues to blossom and they remain best friends forever. Did you catch the adorable video of them trying to take selfies? It was beyond cute. Their journey from shy beginnings to full bloom has been a joy to watch. Now, back to Jiwon and Yongwoo. Their post-show interview, which was recently posted on Naver, has gotten a lot of people talking. According to this article, the duo shared their honest thoughts about the show's conclusion in this interview. So just to make things quick on this video, I'll dive straight into analyzing the most relevant parts of their Q&A session. Don't worry, I'll include the first part of the article at the end so you can read or listen to it in its entirety. Apologies in advance if anything got lost in translation or misinterpreted. If you spot any errors, please correct me in the comments. So here we go. First question, how do you feel about the conclusion of the final episode?
Yongwoo, first of all, I want to thank and apologize to all the friends who appeared with me. There were many moments when I watched myself and thought, why did I do that? It was a time of much self-reflection. Whether it was due to the confusion I felt during filming, or because I wanted to be more fun than serious, there were many moments when I should have conveyed my true feelings but didn't. I regret causing misunderstandings and hurt to the friends I was with, and I took the time to reflect on myself.
Jiwon, I thought of the program as a gift that came from my family, but it brought meaning beyond that. Although I've felt and learned many things, one of them is that the emptiness I had inside wasn't due to someone else's absence, but a deep longing that came from living apart from my family. It wasn't due to anyone's lack or absence but was entirely my own. I think this realization will change the days ahead for me. It wasn't an easy journey, but I will cherish the time spent together and strive to grow.
It must not have been easy to date in a space where siblings are together. Were there any times when you received help, and conversely, were there any times when it wasn't helpful?
Jian thought about me a lot and helped me, but I feel ashamed because I don't think I did the same for her. There were moments when my attempts to help Jian actually hurt her, and I regret not being there to support and comfort her when she needed it. Jian used to enjoy dancing to K-pop when she was stressed out since she was a student, but we had never danced together. Thanks to Jian, we danced a Hype Boy together at the sibling duet singing contest, which was likely our first and last dance together. It became a good memory.
Since my brother and I already talk a lot, I didn't expect a deeper emotional exchange just because we appeared on the program. I thought it would be funny and entertaining to just watch each other, but from the day my brother moved in, I felt that his presence alone was a great strength. Without him, I might have ended up perfectly guarded, without courage or mistakes. Although it was difficult that he disarmed me, I was grateful that he did.
How did your family and friends react to the ending of the final episode?
I heard a lot of concerns from my friends. They knew my actions and words to lighten the mood in certain situations, and they felt that if I had spoken more sincerely rather than trying to move past the situation, my feelings might have been better conveyed. Their advice resonated with me deeply, and I think I learned a valuable lesson.
Friends who initially watched with a light heart became so immersed that they didn't even want to know the ending. My parents also became more invested with each episode, growing attached to all the participants. Thanks to the program, I was able to have more conversations and emotional exchanges with my family, and above all, we came to understand and love each other more.
The final twist is considered the biggest surprise. When you went on your secret first date, did you feel that you would become the final couple?
Since it was shortly after moving in, I didn't think about the final choice. But I remember that Jiwon and I communicated well and had fun, even though it was our first meeting. Jiwon was the first person I hesitated to text after moving in, which means I was attracted to her. However, I couldn't accurately determine at that time whether I wanted to text her because of the date or because I was attracted to her as a person.
Since it was the most confusing and difficult time, I felt that I had to live differently than before. I felt that Yongwoo Oppa had a personality most opposite to the type of people I liked. Watching him interact with Jian humorously yet warmly and reliably made me curious about the future. Since it was a special opportunity, the first and last in my life, I think I had the courage to make a different choice, even if it was a twist and an uncertain future.
Jiwon chose an additional date with Yongwoo after their first 10-minute date. The conversation during the 10-minute date and the extended date must have been quite different. Was there a difference in the conversations or the atmosphere between the two dates?
I'm not good at drinking, but I ended up being the last to date with her after drinking with friends, so at first, I wasn't even aware of the situation and everything passed by in a blur. Watching the broadcast, I was embarrassed to see how relaxed my posture looked. I only became a little comfortable after the extended date, and then I realized that Jiwon had spent similar times with others besides me. Despite being tired, Jiwon didn't show it at all, which made her seem amazing and mature. I think this mature side of Jiwon continued to build up after moving in, leading to the final choice.
It was a very cold day, but in the cold and confusing situation, Yongwoo Oppa led the conversation in a comfortable manner with an easygoing attitude, which helped me relax a lot. From the extended date, I was able to focus more on what he was saying.
After the first date at Jibudo, Yongwoo described Jiwon as the female version of himself, and Jiwon described Yongwoo as someone she felt a good discomfort with. I'm curious about what specific point during the date led to these impressions.
During the first date, the conversation flowed well with Jiwon, and it was fun talking with her, which gave me good feelings. Living together, I instinctively felt that Jiwon was the type who didn't share her struggles or worries with others. Despite that, she maintained her humor and made others feel comfortable, which I liked. Compared to her, I couldn't make others as comfortable. I admired her and wanted to be like her.
After my mom collapsed, I felt a lot of guilt for 2 years, and in such a situation, I didn't want to feel guilty towards anyone I met. I tend to think a lot, so I'm attracted to people who are cute and bright enough to awaken someone like me, but at that time, I felt like my dark thoughts were also darkening the other person. Then I met Yongwoo Oppa, and I felt that he had parts that were the same color as mine. Although it was the first time I felt such emotions towards the opposite sex and it was uncomfortable, I also had a good expectation that my color might not stand out or seem too dark to him.
After reading through their answers, here's what I gathered. When Jiwon and Yongwoo first met, there wasn't an immediate spark, but they both had positive feelings towards each other. Jiwon knew she wanted to pursue him because he was different from her usual type. Yongwoo, on the other hand, liked her but wasn't sure if his feelings were genuine or just gratitude for being chosen by her. So when asked about the impact of the 10 extra minutes they got after their first meeting, Yongwoo mentioned that he discovered Jiwon's maturity. Despite being tired from meeting the other guys, he said she handled the situation with strength and composure. This maturity is what drew Yongwoo to her more in the house, and his feelings for her grew stronger, leading to their eventual relationship. Connecting the dots with Choa, if Jiwon's maturity was a big draw for Yongwoo, does that mean Choa came across as immature to him? Maybe she showed a more playful childlike side when they were in Singapore, which shifted his perception. I'm really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here and understand his reasoning on the show. Perhaps he's attracted to women who are busy with their lives and don't have much time for him. Anyway, I won't find the answers I'm looking for if I relate this to Choa, so I'll move on. Next, Yongwoo mentioned that Jiwon had many struggles, which she didn't share but always tried to make everyone laugh and feel comfortable. This was another quality he liked about her. These two major reasons, her maturity and her uplifting nature, were what attracted him to Jiwon. So, since he stated these qualities were what kept attracting him to Jiwon, I have to accept it. Though things still don't completely add up, I understand that times are a bit rough for him now, and probably nothing he says will fully justify his behavior on the show. He expressed many regrets about how he managed himself. He regretted not helping his sister when she was struggling and not showing his true feelings. Almost every word he said in this interview was full of regrets, except for the parts involving Jiwon. It seems how he envisioned himself on the show was entirely different from the actual outcome. It was almost like he was there to self-sabotage. Jiwon, on the other hand, when answering questions about what led her into making her final decision, said, "She is an overthinker who often finds herself in a dark space with dark thoughts, worried that this might affect her partner. This is why she usually prefers people with bright, colorful, and cute personalities." But after meeting Yongwoo, she noticed they shared a similar darkness vibe. For the first time, she felt drawn to someone like him, believing her darkness wouldn't overwhelm him. She loved his humorous interactions with his sister Ju-yeon, and saw dating him as a once-in-a-lifetime chance, which led her to choose him regardless of the risks involved. Regarding their responses, I believe they were genuine to a certain degree. Although it would have been nicer if Jiwon had been more straightforward with most of her answers. She often seemed to dance around the questions without providing substantive responses. I wish she had done a better job with them, though I understand she was trying to keep a positive attitude without selling herself short. For Yongwoo, I think it's great that he expressed his regrets about how he portrayed himself on the show. It could really help his public image if he finds a way to publicly mend his broken relationship with Choa. How he'll do that, I'm not sure, but maybe an open letter of apology to Choa with zero excuses for leading her on would be a good start. Plus, showing a united front with his sister on Instagram, whether he keeps the comments on or off, and following all the cast members and liking their posts could also help restore his reputation. This might be tricky if their relationships have been strained since the show ended, but it's worth a shot. If I were in his shoes, these are some strategies I'd use to move forward. Hopefully, he takes this as a lesson learned and moves on. Yongwoo's Instagram followers have been steadily declining. He hasn't posted anything recently, and his comments are permanently off, but hey, I fully support anything that helps his mental health, so he shouldn't open up the comments unless he's ready to handle the criticism. Netizens have also speculated that he faked his graduation pictures in his first post on his page. They said the event was not a graduation ceremony and that he rented the gown and hat, also involving his family, holding his certificate up like it was his real graduation. I don't believe everything I see on social media, so I personally could care less if the photos were staged. As long as his certificate isn't fake, then I'm good. With Jiwon, I noticed from the show that she is very sensitive, even though she puts up a tough girl persona to mask her weaknesses. This is why I'm guessing she may have been struggling a bit recently, even though she's trying to put up a bold front. In one of her recent posts on IG, her brother encouraged her to cheer up and keep her chin up. She's also featuring her brother more in her posts, which is helping her image a lot. I hope she's finding joy and solace in her relationship with Yongwoo, because it'll be a big disaster if after all the backlash they still ended up breaking up. But it seems they might be on a break or keeping their relationship very private. I'm convinced they dated after the show because, according to the interview, she was willing to risk the unknown future by choosing him. She saw it as a huge opportunity to date someone like him, whom she wouldn't typically meet. It doesn't seem like she can easily drop the relationship, but the current situation may cause a different effect. She probably anticipated some fallout but didn't realize how bad Yongwoo's storyline would be. Another reason I believe they dated post-show is the Christmas photos shared by the show at the finale. They were always side by side, looking really happy, unlike Jong-sub and Se-sung, who were usually far apart. Also, have you noticed the music Jiwon adds to her IG posts? They all seem to share themes of deep affection, longing, and missing someone. It's like she's sending little love notes through her song choices. I won't go into all the details so I don't take too much of your time in this video, but you get my drift. Those were the lyrics played in each of those songs in her posts, and here are the screenshots of the songs if you're interested. In conclusion, I will say that in my view, they dated well after the show, but I perceive they are currently on a break or keeping things very private due to the backlash. What do you think? Do you also think they dated after the show or never did? Are they still together in your opinion or broken up? Share your thoughts in the comments. Here are the translations for the full details of the first part of the article without the Q&A. The original link will be in the description box. In the final episode of My Siblings' Romance, the Yongwoo and Jiwon couple, who delivered a twist ending, shared their honest thoughts about the show's conclusion in an interview. Wave and JTBC's entertainment show, My Siblings' Romance, directed by Lee Jin-joo, is a family intervention dating reality program where siblings gather to find each other's partners. Since its first broadcast in April, it has recorded high viewership, consistently ranking first in attracting new paid subscribers in the web entertainment category until the finale. In the final week, it topped the TVOTT Integrated Non-Drama Topic Survey released by Good Data Corporation, ending with its highest topicality score. Yongwoo and Jiwon were drawn to each other because of their similarities but initially struggled to accept their feelings, pushing each other away. In the end, they became a couple through a fateful attraction. They said they learned a lot from the program by focusing on their inner voices, especially when grappling between inertia and fate. When asked about his thoughts on the show's conclusion, Yongwoo said, "It was a time of much self-reflection," and added, "I regret and reflect on not being able to fully convey my true feelings, which caused misunderstandings and hurt." Jiwon also shared her thoughts, saying, "I realized that my shortcomings were my own responsibility, not due to someone else's lack or absence." They also expressed gratitude and apologies to their siblings. Yongwoo said, "There were moments when my efforts to help Juyeon actually hurt her, and I regret not being there for her when she needed support and comfort." Jiwon expressed her feelings towards Yunjae, saying, "From the day my brother moved in, his presence alone was a great strength to me," and added, "Without him, I might have ended up perfectly guarded without courage or mistakes." Given that they were the couple who created the biggest twist, did they feel they would become the final couple on their first date? Reflecting on their first meeting, Yongwoo said, "I was drawn to Jiwon so much that I hesitated to text her after moving in," and added, "But at that time, I couldn't clearly judge whether I wanted to text her because of the date or because I was attracted to her as a person." Jiwon said that the time when she appeared on the program was the most confusing and difficult period of her life. Therefore, she felt that she had to live differently than before. Jiwon said, "Yongwoo oppa is the most opposite to the type of people I liked," and added, "Since it was the first and last opportunity in my life, I had the courage to make a different choice." After their first 10-minute date, which led to an extended date chosen by Jiwon, Yongwoo said, "Jiwon must have been tired from talking to others in succession, but she didn't show it at all, which made her seem very mature and impressive." That image of Jiwon continued to build after moving in, leading to the final choice. Jiwon recalled their first meeting, saying, "In a cold and bewildering situation, Yongwoo oppa made me feel comfortable, which helped me relax a lot." The expressions about each other after the Jibudo date were also impressive. Yongwoo described Jiwon as the female version of himself, while Jiwon described Yongwoo as someone she felt a good discomfort with. Yongwoo explained that Jiwon seemed like the type who didn't easily share her worries with others. "But I liked how she was always cheerful and made others feel comfortable. I wanted to be like her," and that's why I described her that way. Jiwon said, I felt that Yongwoo oppa had parts that were similar to my own colors. It was the first time I felt such emotions towards the opposite sex, and although it was uncomfortable, I had a good expectation that my color might not stand out or seem too dark to him. Thanks for watching, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. Bye.